I can tell you, if this year is Daniel Suarez's year, it will be one heck of a party on the front stretch after this race.
There is no question. Anytime Daniel Day coverage celebration. Tyler Reddick is with us when we continue with our Media Day coverage from Daytona. We'll also visit with NASCAR's most popular driver, Chase Elliott.
Oh, my God. Meet the daring who face down fear behind the wheel. Dangerous drives.
These are the roads I'm most concerned about.
They will take you out if you get an opportunity.
You slide off it, you're dead.
If you're one of those guys that say you aren't scared, I think you're lying.
When you get out of control, you're not coming home, except in a body bag.
Dangerous drives.
It's a Pinks All Out fan flavor.
Come on aboard for some Pinks All Out!
I can't describe it.
I just love all the cars. I will come back to everyone.
I can't wait to see it.
This is where racer meets machine. What an unbelievable drag race! These warriors ride on the edge of glory and the edge of devastation. This is the NHRA.
The NHRA all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off.
He's done.
Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off, that's fine.
Now is when the future is written. In the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
Everybody's overheated.
Hear the action
That'll make radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
I'm very entertained as we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something.
NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
Much has changed over our 75 years. But the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops and the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
NASCAR Race Hub is in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's Media Day for the 2024 Daytona 500. Let's go back to Regan Smith.
Well, Adam, it was an interesting year last year for Tyler Reddick coming to Daytona. A lot of newness for you, a new team, a lot to get used to. This year, Media Day, maybe just a little bit calmer for you this year.
What happened? You were like all like joking around and stuff. Now you got all serious. We like live or something?
Well, I got to be professional. They expect good things on TV here from us, and we've got such a great young driver here. I want the good answers from you.
Was that a good one? Was that a good first one or what?
I would say that we're off to a slow start, but let's get back on track here, Tyler. And I want to find out this year it's not as new feeling for you this year. You've got experience of 2311. What's it been like coming into this season knowing that it's not quite so fresh?
Yeah, I mean, we moved from our old shop in Morrisville into Airspeed, and that alone is just moving from what we had to where we are now. Was a serious undertaking in an off season, made for a pretty chaotic one, but we're moved into where we are, and it's a beautiful facility. We've got everything that we could ever want, need now. And once it's completely finished, I'll be really excited to see it. We're still getting everything buttoned up there, but certainly it's a huge upgrade from what we had, and certainly going to make it easier to pump out fast race cars.
How about Daytona 500? No top 10s in the Daytona 500 for you yet. You've been fast down here, though. What is it going to take for Tyler Reddick to finally get to the end of one of these 500s and maybe get that first Daytona 500 win?
You got to finish the race, obviously, right? Like when I finished this race, I've been with half a car in pieces and all that sort of stuff, right? So, yeah, we got to understand what our strategy is going to be when we start this race. That'll be dictated by our finish in the duels, how we qualify tonight as well. So, if we can go out there and get a good qualifying effort, hopefully, we get a good pit stall and everything for the duels, and if we get a good finish there, it'll make the race on Sunday a lot easier. But yeah, first and foremost, we just got to figure out what that strategy is going to look like, based on our starting position, and then just go from there and stick to it.
Adam, I'm calling it right now. I think Tyler Reddick gets to the end of the 500 and he gets at least that first top 10 this year.
Thank you, Regan. Chase Elliott is with us now at the desk. Welcome into our Media Day coverage.
Yeah, thank you.
That front.
Yeah, I feel really good. It's a little longer recovery to do certain sports than what I had. And most of that is like throwing motions and things of that nature over your head type stuff with your shoulders. Just takes a little longer. Fortunately, I'm not in that type of position in the car. So from that standpoint, I feel really good. Raced the Clash, expected to be kind of, and then obviously I've had 2 more weeks and felt really kind of nursing it back to 100% in procedure. And
seasons in the Cup wins. Alan Gustafson has, from the injuries this off-season, looking ahead to
reality of are just really zoned in on talking about the right things. I think we started getting in that direction the last 4 or 5 weeks of last year. Talking about identifying is one step, problem solving and finding solutions is another, but there are steps to that process. And I feel like we're in a good place. And when I look at last season and the things that went on and the year that we had, it's really easy for a team to blow up from the inside after a season like that. And just super proud of where our team is at mentally right now and how committed we are to each other, how committed we are to performing at a high level and getting to where we feel where we can be again. And, Alan and I are as close as we've ever been. And I think that just says a lot about his character, because it's easy to jump ship and it's easy for things to go way south when you're struggling, and frankly it's been quite the opposite. So I have a lot of desire and a lot of drive to climb back up that mountain with the same group of guys, so we can look back and say that we've been on top and we've been way down and we were able to climb back up again, and that drives me to want to do a really good job for them.
Let's look to Sunday. Hendrick Motorsports has won 8 Daytona 500s, but it's been 10 years since one of Mr. H's drivers held up that Harley J. Earl trophy. What kind of emphasis is placed on this race for everyone at HMS?
Well, I think it's a big deal for everyone at every organization for sure. But the boss definitely wants to win. He always wants to win. He hates losing, and I do too. And I think that for all of us, it's 40th year anniversary for HMS, which I think is really cool. Really proud to have been a small piece of that puzzle, and we'd love to get Rick back to victory lane and to to get another trophy down here would be a big deal for me, for Alan. He's never won a 500, and he's from down here. It's a huge driving force for us to want to do well, and to get the boss on the trophy be even better.
Well, as a follow-up on that, Chase, and again, I know tonight in qualifying, Hendrick Motorsports is going to be all over the front row probably. I mean, that's been the case the last decade. But it just seems like whoever wins this race on Sunday, he's going to go out there and he's going to talk about how good his car drove. And there's a fine line, and that line seems like it's getting more and more with this car and the age on this racetrack. It is a fine line.
It is, and it is aging, and I think it's great because perspective, like right before they paved. I mean, the track was rough, which this place is super smooth now, so I don't think we'll get the bumps like they have, but it was rough and cars were bouncing around. They had to drive good, and they had to find that balance, and I do think we are getting a little bit more in that direction now, than they were 10 or 12 years ago, but there's always a happy place, and hopefully we can find that this other race and being able to be on offense. You just don't want to be dependent upon somebody else to go.
Fish, right? If you're going to win this race,
y'all enjoy.
Chase Elliott looking to get it done in the Great American Race on Sunday. After a break, we're going to talk with John Hunter Nemechek back to the Cup Series in 2024. Joey Logano.
Face down fear. Concerned about. And we'll take you out. Give you an opportunity. Say you aren't scared. I think you're lying.
When you get out of control, you're not coming home, except in a body bag.
Dangerous drives.
NHRA, all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
Everybody's overheated.
Hear the action
That'll make radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
Very entertaining as we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops, and the crazy journey. 5 years from now, you might not recognize much at all, but one thing will never change: that feeling you get when the race begins again.
Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off.
He's done.
Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off us, bud.
Now is when the future is written. in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
At all the sports, all the action, all the insights, all in one place. Get into the action at North Star Bet Sportsbook and Casino. That's a win.
Hear that? Your other sides are calling. Where will they take you when you set them free? This is the new Nissan.
It's Leon's No Money Miracle event. Find incredible prices on furniture. Save up to 50% on select mattresses. Plus, other than the taxes and fees, don't pay until 2026 with 0% interest. Limited time only.
This is what we practiced for! Woohoo! Yeah!
Yeah, we did it.
So therapeutic to laugh.
Buddy, I'll tell you what, that was a pretty good restart for that 22 car. He can go where he wants to now. That 22 is out front. He's hard to catch.
Middletown, Connecticut's Joey Logano wins the Daytona 500.
Daytona 500, guys!
Boy, that's got to make the driver feel good. Joey Logano is with us in Daytona. Watching those highlights, I mean, brings back some good memories, huh?
I liked it. I liked it. It's been a little too long. We were talking off air a little bit. It's been 9 years and so close, so many times. And shoot, last year was just a couple inches away, or if they just hit that button, that caution button just a little bit sooner, you know, I've been like really would have really changed the bottom line for me. You know, it'd have been a good one. But it's just what the 500 is. It's a tough one to win, and a lot of things can happen. And at the end of the race, everybody knows what they're racing for, and it gets for a chance.
A lot different than today. A lot of on track time. There was a lot of practice. We were truly here for a full week. When did you feel like, I think we might have something for them on Sunday? I know
handle good enough with, especially when it was, you know, the sun was out and rubber track would rubber, those type of things. And it's no different today. Now we have no idea what we're going to have for qualifying, right? Nobody does.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're going to have before the duels start. But after the duels, you kind of know where you're at. You have a practice where you can, you know, sling some stuff at it. And then you're really going to have a good idea of, do I have something I can win the 500 with or not? And here's the bottom line. Even if you don't have something, you can happen in this thing.
You know, I look at your numbers both at Daytona and Talladega, and they just say you're really good in the draft. You won in the draft last year at Atlanta Motor Speedway. What has made you so good at this style of racing?
I study a lot of it. That's probably some of it. I got a great spotter in Coleman Presley. He's probably the best. We have a great relationship to where I understand the way he. And you can see what's happening, and it's like so duh. But if you're a spotter and you see that, for one, it's still hard for them to see because of their angles, but also they have to verbalize that to the driver, and the driver still got to make the decision off of that. It just becomes far more complex throughout the process. So it's tough. It's supposed to be hard, right? I mean, but it just trying to clarify that you know, the ability to communicate back and forth. That's the hardest part.
Joey, I was talking to your crew chief, Paul Wolf, a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about 2023. Adam mentioned the win at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and you had like 11 top fives and 17 top tens, but he said, you know what? a lot of those were artificial finishes. We ended up having to finish better than we were maybe running. And I linked that with an interview I heard with you a few weeks ago where you said, I'm used to running in the top 5, top 10. There was a lot of races I didn't do that last year, and by God, that's hard.
It's a lot different. You have to learn to race in different spots, right? Like I felt like I'm a great top 5 driver, but 15th place driver I wasn't really good at last year. I got to figure out how to like get through the process. And you know, to agree with Paul on that, like he's done a great job at calling the race to get the most out of it. And I feel like honestly, as a team, we execute a race. We have great people because we're able to execute great races. We just got to get a little quicker, and hopefully this year's the year we can do that. I feel confident we can. We've been there before. Hopefully the new Mustang's got a little bit more in it, and that could be the difference.
How are things as a racing dad right now?
As a racing dad, in which way?
Well, I mean,
That's a
I
loaded
see you guys
question
putting in a
there.
lot of time. How are you handling that side of your life?
It's going pretty well at the moment. We got 3 kids, and that's 3's a lot. I tell you what, 2 to 3 was a big change. But we're
no more man-to-man. Your zone defense now,
tough.
right?
It's tough. But you know, we were at the playground earlier this morning, and our youngest Amelia, like, you can trust her a little bit more, like that she can like go up the stairs now and not like you're scared that she's gonna fall and bust her head open like every single move she makes. You're still a little nervous, but like you can at least like not have to follow her for every move, right? So now it's like, okay, so it's getting a little better, I think. So we'll wait and see. Now my oldest is out there on a Daytona, like the little track. So of course it's a racetrack for all the kids on their scooters, but of course mine has to have a battery powered one, and so then it becomes more dangerous. So maybe
just make sure you're patient at home, and then everything will work out. All right.
I try my hardest. You know, it's tough on Valentine's Day. My wife's got all 3 of them right now. Here I am talking to you 2 lovely fellas.
You're in debt.
Yes.
Good to see you. And best of luck this weekend. All right, Regan.
Well, thank you, Adam. I'm standing here with John Hunter Nemechek, a guy who is getting ready to make his second start in the Great American Race, but more importantly, second opportunity in the Cup Series.
Super pumped for this year. Ready to get kicked off here in 2024 here at the Daytona 500. A lot of familiar faces, I will say, at Legacy Motor Club, but a lot of new faces as well. Manufacturer swap over with Legacy, trying to get used to all the Toyota TRD processes within the Cup Series. Man, it's been a long off season, that is for sure. A lot of hard work, but really looking forward to getting it kicked off, and hopefully kicked off on the right foot.
Got some big name bosses over there also. Jimmy Johnson, of course, Matt Kenseth over there, Richard Petty involved. Any pressure from those guys as you come down to Daytona? That's a lot of success here.
Yeah, that's a lot of success. There's some pressure there, but Matt seems to keep the mood light all the time. And I never know if he's being serious or joking. And Jimmy kind of plays into that now. So I don't know if they're serious or joking half the time when they're talking to me, but it's a lot of fun being able to have those guys in your corner, and to have the king in your corner as well, being able to hear him tell stories and always give his opinion, but being able to draft with Jimmy here hopefully on Sunday, and have Matt in our corner as well, Trevor Bain as well. So a lot of Daytona 500 wins underneath the Legacy Motor Club banner. Now hopefully I can add my name to that.
Adam, a lot of excitement building around Legacy Motor Club this year. John Hunter Nemechek certainly a part.
We come back, we'll talk to the guy that won the last time we were in Daytona Beach. That would be Chris Buescher, and the man that won the championship a few years ago, Kyle Larson, is with us on the hub.
An unbelievable drag race. These warriors ride on the edge of glory and the edge of devastation. This is the NHRA.
NHRA. All season long on Fox Sports Racing.
It's a Pinks All Out 4-wide edition. This is history tonight. Over 30,000 fans. A NASCAR superstar. First ever televised 4-lane showdowns. and extreme camera coverage.
The first time ever we went 4 wide.
Makes All Out goes 4 wide.
Nice!
Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off.
He's done.
Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off, that's fine.
Now is when the future is written. In the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There's a thin line in the NASCAR Xfinity Series between winning and losing, between being the future and being past, between headlines and tailspins, between making history and being it, between the sweet taste of victory and the fumes of defeat. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, there's a thin line between being a name they know and being a name they'll never forget.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops, and the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
Everybody's overheated.
Hear the action
That'll make radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
Very entertaining.
As we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Up on Fox Sports Racing all season long. The Daytona 500 Club at Daytona International Speedway is the place to be today. It's Media Day for the 2024 Daytona 500. And joining us now is Kyle Larson. Welcome to our coverage. Lots of interviews today, right?
Yeah. lots of the same questions.
I bet. We'll try to mix it up a little bit. How's that
Let me
sound?
guess. My stats are really bad here.
I wasn't going to say that you don't have a top 5 in Daytona. How about the fact that you're entering year 4 at Hendrick Motorsports and all the success that you've amassed there? What would you say about your time under the HMS umbrella?
Anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports. So a lot of fun stuff I'm sure is going to happen this year, and hopefully we can be celebrating Victory Lane a lot for Rick.
It is hard to believe that this will be your 4th year in that 5 car, but you guys set the bar so high in 21. 10 wins, dominated the All-Star Race Championship 4 last year, but you guys set the bar so high right out of the box.
I knew, and I hope everybody knew that was going to be pretty unrealistic to replicate year after year, but we try our best for sure. And the next gen race has just gotten really tough. Like the competition's a little bit tighter. The cars are much tougher physically and probably a little tougher to drive. And it's just it's made winning harder. That's why I think you see more winners now than we used to and all of that. So that's fun though. It means it's more competitive, and it gets us working hard, and it presents new challenges too, which pushes each and every one of us to get better.
How do you stay so balanced? Because I feel like in the good times, you're never too high. And when things aren't going your way, you don't get too low. What's the key to all of that for you?
Race a lot, maybe.
Distraction?
Yeah, distraction, I guess. Yeah, probably because I definitely get, frustrated, and I get happy and elated and all that too. But I think for me, it's like I'm always try to forget about this last one, whether it was good or bad or whatever. Try not to let it linger on too much. So I think, yes, the distraction of me staying busy and racing 100 times a year probably helps the mentality.
You've got coming up in May because double the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. I know you've been go at Phoenix.
I thought the test went good. I mean, it's so hard for me to like really give an opinion or a grade or a judge on it. I don't know if I'm running to limit or not. But I was surprised that the cars didn't honestly feel like car. I think our next gen cars have transitioned to something more similar to that. Lower profile like that. That I think, yes, it's way different vehicle, but it's way more similar than what we used to have. So to me, it kind of felt like a early morning practice, at Phoenix in a cup car. Like it had a lot of grip. It was edgy. You felt like you were close to that edge of slipping. A lot of mid corner speed, all of that. So I was pleased to kind of realize shortly that it didn't feel way different. The way I felt the tires loading into the track and all that. So Indy, though, I mean, will be different, I'm sure. So, but for Phoenix itself, it didn't feel way different. It's definitely different, but it's not way different.
We joked when you sat down about all the bad luck that you've had in the Daytona 500, and in particular, just racing here in general. What's the biggest challenge of racing in the Great American Race?
Biggest challenge, I think just keeping yourself in a good position. I think we've done a good job of being in close to a good position at the end of the race. I feel like since I've joined Hendrick anyways, we've been not only here, but Talladega, maybe not so much Atlanta since they've changed that, but here in Talladega, I feel like you look at us in the final 10% of the race and we're up there. Like there's a lot of times we line up in the front 2 rows for the final restart of the race. It just has not worked out for us. So yeah, I think I think we're much better than what we look on paper. I think I'm just like a small decision away from making the right move and being in the right spot and getting to the lead or being in front of the wreck, whatever it may be. So I don't think we need to freak out and keep putting ourselves in position, and eventually I'm going to make the right decision there late and it's going to work out.
Execution, timing, and maybe just a little bit of that racing luck on Sunday will turn things around. Good to see you, and best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Let's go over to Regan.
Well, Adam, I have corralled Chris Buescher here on media today. One of the guys that has got to be very excited to be at Daytona. Of course, the most recent winner at Daytona in the summer of 2023. What's that do for the confidence coming in here, Chris?
Well, finally got it done in those closing laps. So we've been really fast here. Super Speedway racing in general with RFK, Ford Mustang. So I'm excited to get all 3 of our cars on track this go around. I think that's going to be a lot of fun racing with a good friend of mine and David Reagan, who him and his family really helped get my big break into racing. So that's going to be fun. We know we're going to be fast. We'll have a good shot to work together, try and control this race and see if we can't do a 1, 2, 3. I know it's going to be tricky yet, but we're pumped for this race. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A really special year for you last year, the 3 wins and all the success that RFK is having as the program regrows. You've been there since the beginning. You saw the days where it was tough for you, see the gains being made now. How fulfilling has that been to be a part of it?
It's sure is nice. Last year was the most fun I've had racing in a really long time. And it's nice to be able to say that. It's enjoyable to see people's reactions, their attitudes in the shop. Those that have been around since well before I was there. So a couple decades now. And those that were, joining us a week before we were winning races. Everybody's pumped. We know what we're capable of. We're working hard to make sure we're able to compete for even more, try and win them early in the season so that we can get a little bit of a breather through the summer stretch. But it's been really neat to see it just rise back and become what it was back in its heyday. It's truly been special. I love to be a part of it. Stuck around and been fortunate enough to get my main career here with RFK, and so it's just fun to be a part of building it back up and some of that resurgence, and certainly enjoying it right now.
Adam, he's finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the Great American Race. Don't be surprised if this guy's up front come Sunday.
No doubt about that, Regan. And don't be surprised if this next guy is up front tonight. I'm talking about Alex Bowman, a qualifying machine when it comes to the 500. We've got him and Denny Hamlin, the 3-time 500 champ, on the way.
Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off.
He's done.
Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off us, bud.
Now is when the future is real. In the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight. Everybody's overheated.
Hear the action
That'll make radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
I am very entertained as we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
It's a Pink's All Out fan.
Can't describe it.
I just love all the cars. I will come back to every one.
I can't wait to see it.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops and the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
Oh my God. Meet the daring who face down fear behind the wheel. Dangerous drives.
These are the roads I'm most concerned about.
And we'll take you out and get an opportunity.
You slide off it, you're dead.
If you're one of those guys that say you aren't scared, I think you're lying.
You get out of control, you're not coming home, except in a body bag.
Dangerous drives. This is where legends are made. This is the NHRA.
NHRA, all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
Denny Hamlin has won the Daytona 500.
The closest 500 ever.
Denny Hamlin wins his second Daytona 500.
I can't thank you enough, man.
Oh, man. That's storybook stuff right there.
Denny Hamlin will go back to back.
Denny Hamlin has now won 3 of the last 5 Daytona 500s, third on the all-time list.
And with us now from the Daytona 500 Club, the 3-time champ, Denny Hamlin. We just all want to do the 3 real quick. Just, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Huh? You know, you're one of 6 drivers to have 3 or more wins in the Daytona 500. And if you look at the list, I mean, it's the best of the best. What does it mean to you to be a part of that category?
It's special. I mean, I don't take it for granted. When I come through the tunnel, I feel it. There's something in my brain with the wires and how it works when you go through. My body feels it when I come through the tunnel here, that you know this is a big event, right? And you know it's the start of the season. But I don't consider it from a strategy standpoint the start of the season. Like, I don't care about stages in the Daytona 500. All I care about is how can I win this race, right? I don't think about points, none of that stuff. So I take risk more at this race and this racetrack than I do all season long.
So we left LA Coliseum, which congratulations on that win, and I'm so excited. We're getting ready to go to Daytona now, and I'm listening to your podcast, and I just heard some disappointing news. No more. I beat your favorite driver. Dad has put an end to this.
It's the point of my life where I realized all the advice that my dad gave when I was much younger and I didn't listen to. I should have listened to my dad at this point. Now, I didn't say I would. I just that I would not say that.
I was gonna say, I was just really starting to embrace Denny the villain in NASCAR. We can't go back to just being Mr. Nice Guy. And maybe the reason that the fans are booing is because you have been winning all the time. I think it's 20 race wins in the last 4 or 5 years. It's remarkable the numbers that you have been putting together. Are you as good now as you've ever been at this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be naive to not think that eventually there will be a night where you wake up and things are just not the same, right? And the performance is going to drop off a cliff, and it'll happen quickly. But it ain't today, and it ain't this year. I can tell you that. I feel as good as I've been physically in a very long time. I feel sharp as I've ever been. I feel really good with my racecraft on all types of racetracks. So I know it's coming, and it'll be years down the road, but I'm gonna enjoy the moment that I have now, knowing that I can go to a racetrack every 7 days and win.
You know, Denny, we were just talking to Kyle Larson, and he's absolutely right. Stats from Daytona and Talladega can be very deceiving. Your 3 Daytona 500 wins, they came with the last generation of car.
Yep.
We now have 8 races between Daytona and Talladega with this next gen car. What's different about it for you at super speedways?
There's been a couple if you're in this position, do this. I've never been successful that way, and I'm going back. I'm going back to the do to win the race and what's best for my organization, because Toyota, who's the big part of this, they'll reap the benefits when I go and win them a race, right? So they can want us to work together all they want, but in the end, it's the selfish guys that win this race. Ricky Stenhouse didn't have any teammates last year. I mean, it just you have to, and there's an advance when he goes and makes a move that he thinks is right for the win. I'm going back to it because I feel like the results have not shown any fruit to doing it the other way.
Interesting. You at Joe Gibbs Racing, and you guys doing a celebration of that victory. And your speech was way more than just a driver that had won on Sunday. How would you describe your leadership role right now at JGR?
Yeah, I mean, I think things really changed when Tony left. That was the moment where I really got comfortable in my voice within the team, because I mean, we didn't even have team debriefs or meetings or anything like that. It was, Tony kind of ran the show at JGR. Kyle was coming in, and then at that point, I'm like, well, I feel like it's my obligation to kind of step up and kind of be a leader of this team and help the engineers go in directions and things like that. And that led to being more comfortable publicly on other issues, driver safety or whatnot. And that happened when Mark Martins, the Dale Juniors, and Tony Stewart starting retiring. And so then it was kind of me and Harvick being the guys that were very vocal outwardly in the media. And now that Harvick's gone, now it's not going to be just me. I see Joey Logano having more of a voice as well, which is heavily encouraged, right? He's got a long runway in this sport. So there's going to need to be a group of young drivers that step up and start to be that voice for the drivers into the future, because not everyone's comfortable in the same situation as others. And you have others that don't feel comfortable speaking much at all. So it's a very important thing in our sport.
I would say it's a really good time to be Denny Hamlin on track and Denny Hamlin off track. Thanks for being here today, and good luck going after number 4 on Sunday. All right, let's send it over to Jamie Little.
Well, Alex Bowman is the man of the hour because it is Daytona 500 qualifying coming up tonight. A lot of talk about you, obviously. Every time we come down here, 6 straight years, you've been on the front row. 3 of those were poles. So how much emphasis does your team put on this night?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think
it's been pretty obvious over the last 6 years that Hendrick Motorsports has been down here, especially with the 88 and 48 cars, just to qualify well. You know, it means a lot to Mr. Hendrick and a lot to everybody on our team. So yeah, we're here to qualify. Hopefully, we're on the front row and see how it goes.
One thing that I like most about you is that you love rescue dogs. And we've talked about this before, but Finn has to stay home usually, right? Because Mr. H doesn't allow him on the plane. Have you been working on that? Have you gotten the okay yet?
Yeah, we finally got the okay like halfway through last year. So yeah, Finn's here hanging out, having a good time, which is good. Because leaving him at home is never fun, and finding somebody to watch him was never easy either. So glad to have him here. He's in the bus, and hopefully we'll get him in victory lane on Sunday.
So I know you love nicknames, right?
I have the worst nickname, quite possibly of all time.
What is
The Showman is terrible. It's just a terrible nickname.
I've got a new one for you.
Well, you're gonna.
Are you ready?
I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
Front row Bo. And that's not from me. I took one for the team. What do you think?
That's not very good. That's not very good at all. But yeah, just I don't know. We're gonna have to come up with something better than that.
I think we're going to hear it. It's like one of those secret words that you slip in interviews. We're going to hear it tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see.
Front row Bo? Maybe, maybe not. Back to you guys.
I think we threw it against the wall, and Jamie, it did not stick. More Media Day coverage on the way. We hear from Chase Briscoe. We got Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion, the Hall of Famer, the 2-time 500 winner, and Bubba Wallace with us next.
Oh my God. Meet the dangerous drives. These are the roads I'm most concerned about.
Maybe we'll take you out and get an opportunity.
When you slide off there, you're dead.
If you're one of those guys that say you aren't scared, I think you're lying.
You get out of control, you're not coming home, except in a body bag.
Dangerous drives.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down the excitement of NASCAR. Biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
This is where racer meets machine. What an unbelievable drag race. These warriors ride on the edge of glory and the edge of devastation. This is the NHRA.
NHRA all season long on Fox Sports Racing. Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week, or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off. Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Those tires.
But the thing that, until that first green flag drops, and the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
Hear that? Where will they take you when you say...
This is what we practiced for! Yeah!
Yeah, we did it.
It's so therapeutic to laugh.
Life and death are the same. Both can have value and purpose.
Plan starting at just $7.99 a month.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic finish. Man in victory lane, Richard Petty.
Richard Petty, who looks like he's on his way to his 193rd career win. The crowd up on their feet. One of the most beloved race drivers in the history of the sport. Holding on to that lead like a hammerhead shark. Here he comes, coming down. Seeking out. And is he slowing down? Is he running out of fuel? He's moving across the line slowly, but he takes the checkered flag. Well, here is one of the great masters of the sport. Richard Petty, scoring his 193rd career win. I figure some people are happy if they win 2 races. And here we have a man that's won the Daytona 500 7 times, and nobody else has won it twice. One of the great race drivers of our time. Here he comes into victory lane.
You just got to keep winning races forever. I'm going to keep on trying. Ned, you can bet on that.
Throughout 2024, we'll be celebrating 75 years of Petty, and with us now, one of his partners. The same team. What is your relationship like? How has it grown with King Richard now that you guys are working together?
It's impact on the sport, which is, just mind blowing. But his families, when you look at the Mount Rushmore families that really built NASCAR. I mean, obviously the France family, but the Petty family is right there alongside of them. And the fact that Richard's still here, still goes to 20-something races a year, the hardest working, individual at Legacy Motor Club, it seems like. I mean, he does every interview, always hustling, always on it. Together.
Well, 75 years for the Petty family being a part of a NASCAR, but take me back to this paint scheme you're running that goes back 60 years ago for the King. Pretty cool.
Carvana wanted to do something special for the 500, and understanding the 75th year for the Petty family, they served up an idea that, I, of course, bought in on of honoring Richard and figuring out how to pull that together. And then through our research, we found out that the year Richard won his first Daytona 500 was the same year he won his first championship.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of that common point that made sense, and that's why we went with the 64 scheme.
I'm curious for you, all that you've accomplished in NASCAR and in the racing world in general, those 2 Daytona 500 victories, where does that rate on your list of accomplishments?
Man, they are the single largest events that I've won. The only thing bigger than is the championship. And when I won in 06, won my first, and I had that whole year before we won the championship, and I just couldn't believe how a single event could have changed my life so much, and the recognition that came along with winning the Daytona 500. So it's a very special thing to experience, and so thankful for the two I've had, and hopefully I get a look at a third.
Jimmy, we were talking right during commercial break, you and I, year 2, part-time driver in the Cup Series, driving the 84 for Legacy Motor Club. You ran 3 races last year. Second year as a co-owner of Legacy Motor Club. I know there's probably been times you feel like you've been drinking through a fire hose, but what are your takeaways driving the car part-time, the next gen car, and being a co-owner?
You know, I have such a better appreciation and understanding for what it takes to be successful in this sport. Obviously, I drove for the best place out there in Hendrick Motorsports for so many years, and it's amazing how much I took for granted. But this journey has taught me a lot, and I'm thankful to have the challenges that have popped up. I'm thankful to have Maury Gallagher as a partner, and his leadership and his commitment to growing this team and making it a Tier 1 program. Toyota's support and the fact they believe in us and are supporting us the way they do. The new partners that have come on, like Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. You know, we have this wave that's rising up around our program, and I'm very thankful for it. And now it's time for us to get on track and deliver and show what we can do.
One thing that will be the same tonight that was a year ago, you got to walk out the pit road. The car came out of the hauler about 3 or 4 hours ago, no practice, buckle in and go qualify. I mean, that
Still
has
doesn't
to
seem
be
right.
an interesting feeling.
It is, especially when I was in the sim the other day and going down the back straightaway in 4th gear, and Matt Kent's at this, oops. So I'm going to have Burdett remind me that there's 5 gears before I pull off.
It'll be important tonight.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
as
very
you
important.
know, though, racing in Cup full-time is difficult.
The big issue, maybe it's not big, but something like the how many gears the car has, with it being a sequential gearbox, it's tough to really kind of be in that headspace of what gear you're in. And I'm so used to putting it in 4th gear, and that was it. That's all that you had to worry about. But even the minor details like pit road. Yesterday, I went and drove pit stop practice for all 3 of our cars, just so I had as many reps as I could, running pit road speed, hitting the sign, watching the guys jump, right sides, lefts. The choreography of all of it's much different, and it's been since May since I've been in a Cup car. So I'm trying to just get those reps so that I don't have to think as much, and I can just be out there and react.
Well, it'll be fun to see you back on track. We look forward to watching qualifying tonight, the duel tomorrow, and ultimately the 500 on Sunday. Thanks for being here,
Thank
Jimmy.
you.
Now to Jamie Little.
And Chase Briscoe finds himself, well, kind of in a different role this season. You're the veteran at Stewart-Haas Racing, not by age, but of course by experience in the series. How's the dynamic so far going with the newbies and Noah Gregson? You have Josh Berry joining you and Ryan Preece, of course.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Before we haven't done it yet, but before in the competition meetings, the meetings after practice, I could kind of just sit in the corner and let Kevin and Eric just kind of say everything, and now I have to speak up because I'm the longest tenured guy there. So it's going to be different from that side of things. Even on the racetrack, it's going to be different. Just learning how those guys race. I've not really raced even against Josh, I don't think at all, and Noah I've raced against a lot, so I kind of know some of his tendencies. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's definitely a different dynamic than we've had in the past, but it's one I'm looking forward to learning, and should be a lot of fun.
So, into this season, you guys, there's been a lot of talk about the new Ford Mustang, the dark horse. You guys are jumping right in. Tonight, we've got qualifying. Tomorrow night, we've got the duels. No practice at all. What's it like, especially knowing that you have this new model and you really don't know the tendencies in real life yet?
It's interesting to say the least. I don't know what to expect. I think in qualifying our cars are going to be really fast, but the duels, I think there's going to be a learning curve for all the Ford drivers. Visually looking at them, the bumpers don't line up near as good as what we've had in the past, so that's going to be something we're just going to have to figure out as we go. But from a one lap standpoint, I think they should be even faster than we had last year, which is really good for us, bad for the rest of the field. But yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing how they race. Obviously, on paper, everything shows it's going to be way better, but until we get out there and actually get to experience what this car is going to do, it's hard to say. So yeah, just looking forward to it finally.
All right, the fellow Hoosier, Chase Briscoe, going for the Daytona 500 on Sunday.
Thanks, Jamie. This must be like the Killer Bees portion of the show. We had Briscoe, and now we have Bubba.
I was wondering where you're going.
Well, I got that curious look at me.
You never know.
Yeah, actually, truth be known, I never know either. Okay, it's kind of like this race, right?
Yeah.
It's wild. It's unpredictable. You don't know what's next. What would you say about your relationship with the Daytona 500? Because you've been close, you've led laps. Where are you with all that?
Guess we're just gonna go dancing in the moonlight on Sunday. So I don't really know.
Now you're writing songs.
It's been really cool to just kind of reflect. This will be my 7th attempt at the Daytona 500. Couple close calls, yet to seal the deal. But yeah, I'm content with where I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm excited to see how our chances go. We talk about we've finished second so many times, and we're really good. I think we're just good at making the right decisions. But making the wrong decision can happen so easy, and you don't really know. I said it over here on Media Row. You don't know it's the right decision until you know it's the wrong decision. And it's like, damn, I shouldn't have done that one. And I think that's what differentiates like Denny, Blaney, Joey, Brad, the Speedway guys, right? Like they make all the right decisions to get to the front and all the right decisions to stay at the front. I am good at making decisions to get to the front, and I'm one step behind on staying up there. So, yeah.
So, Bubba, I want to go back to the Clash 2 weeks ago. I know that track is 2 miles shorter than this track here. Yeah. Nothing relative whatsoever, except you still will be in the 23 car. But you guys have to be encouraged about what you guys did out there. The execution, you had to come from the back after getting dumped one time. I know you finished 12th, but you guys have to be happy with the way things went out there.
Yeah, I thought we learned a lot from our first time at the Clash, where we qualified last car in and ran there. And then last year we showed up, led a lot of laps, had a lot of speed. This one, and I've never been to the racetrack for 5 minutes, and they're like, "Hey, we're going racing today," and it's like, Oh, like I sat down after that. I got back to the hotel and I was talking to my wife. I'm like, oh, I've never had to flip a switch that quick. I don't even know if I flipped it on right. Just that mentality of going through that. So, yes, to answer your question, for sure, encouraged at our speed to be able to do what we do. California, though, I've realized the state of California, love it. Never had a great race in California.
But I would say across the board, when we rewind to last year, the stair step that you have been on and your trajectory is better than it's ever been in your career. Does that echo with your confidence as well?
For sure. I've gone back and watched a lot of 2014. Back when we were dominant in the truck.
Doing trucks,
yeah. Doing trucks. And when Kyle Busch was in the field, but he wasn't in the field, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. You know? And I feel like I needed to go back and find a little bit of that confidence, a little bit of self-belief. This sport is hard. You get beat down and you start to have self-doubt, and it's hard to recover from that. And so where I'm at now is I love what I'm doing. I think I was chasing the last couple of years is chasing the wins for all the wrong reasons. You know, making it a point that I belong, I deserve to be, and I'm here. Let's enjoy. Let's have fun. You know, let's make it last, and just be proud of all that you've done, and be excited for what you're about to do.
You know, Bub, I've known you for so many years, going all the way back to the Bandolero racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I've known Booty Barker probably for 20 plus years. And I just feel like there's something special about the relationship that you two guys have. You guys seem like you just really click, and you really respect and understand each other.
It's bourbon. Did you watch Netflix still? You see his collection?
He's a star. He's a star of the net.
He is awesome. You know, there's a dime a dozen people that you interact with that you hit it instantly. And it's funny that Booty and I knew who Booty was. Right? We used to go to the same grocery store. We still do. Harris Teeter, right there on 73 Shiloh Church Road. We'd be on the produce aisle and hey, man, Booty, how's it going? I think he was doing
Casey Mears?
No, he was doing Ty Gibbs' ARCA car.
Oh, wow.
So he was
way back. Yeah.
And so it's funny. Luckily my wife is amazing. I haven't gone to a grocery store in forever, but I had to go one time last year, sometime in the off season. And I said, you know, it'd be if I turned down this aisle and there's Booty Barker sitting there.
There he was.
And he was. And so it just restarted everything. But just the relationship that we have and the attitudes that we bring out of each other. We're both competitors. You know, he loves football. He loves to compete. He can lead the troops into battle, and he gets you motivated to go out and do whatever it is. And while all that being said, as soon as we're out of the racetrack, we go talk about everything else to get our mind away from it. You know, we focus on, hey man, we did not execute this part well, but let's go talk about John Deere's and bourbon, and we'll get it all right for next week. That's how you make him tick.
I enjoy watching you have success, but I think my favorite moments are post race when MJ has got his arm around you. That's really cool.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
That's right. Good to see you,
Yeah, you
and
too. Yes.
have
Thank
some
you.
fun this year.
We'll do.
Build on the success of momentum.
Absolutely.
All
We'll do.
right.
Thank you.
Bubba Wallace with us on Media Day. Here's what's happening when we continue from the Daytona International Speedway. The man that won here 2 years ago, Austin Cindric, is with us, and Brad Keselowski's so close. So many times he's here as well.
Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week, or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off.
Done.
Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off us. But
Now is when the future is written. In the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks Series.
World champion. Wow, look at that. Awesome.
The NHRA all season long. And in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Between winning and losing. Between being the future, making history, and being it. Between the and the fumes of defeat. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, there's a thin line between
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
Everybody's overheated.
Here's the action
that'll be great. Radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
Very entertaining as we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Up on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops and the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
It's a Pinks All Out 4-Wide edition. This is history tonight. Over 30 superstars. First ever televised 4-lane showdowns. And extreme camera coverage.
First time ever we went 4-wide.
Pinks All Out goes 4-wide.
Nice. Hot cows on their feet. Love it.
And the 64th Daytona 500 is underway.
Gonna settle in and ride. Log some laps.
Austin Cindric and Bubba Wallace out front. 3 miles to go in the Daytona 500.
Now it's time to get aggressive.
Cindric is going to bring them to the line way up to block Ryan Blaney in at the line. Holy cow's right, kid. You just won the biggest race of your life. This race never disappoints.
No, it does not.
Welcome back to Race Hub as Media Day for the Daytona 500 rolls on. I'm Jamie Little, joined by the 2022 Daytona 500 champion, Austin Cindric, and we just played that video, that glitz of that moment in your
day of your life was caught on by so many cameras. So it's very cool to see some of the memories and kind of relive that, and not only see myself in those moments, but also my team and everyone. The trickle down effect for an achievement like that, a victory like that, a race like this, the Daytona 500 is massive for whether for my sponsors, Discount Tire, for Ford, obviously everyone that works Penske Corporation. There's so many people that affects when you have
always just studying everything racing, but you actually had a little bit of fun in the off season. You went to Norway. What was that like, and what did you do over there?
I did. Actually, my older brothers lived there for the last 2 years, and I hadn't visited him over there where he lives, so kind of understand the lay of the land, meet his roommates, and some of his friends he's made, and kind of just get a picture and day of his life. My brother and I are like could not be two any different people, and it's pretty cool. He's very ambitious in going and just moving to a foreign country, and I mean they honestly speak better English over there in Norway than they do in the U.S. But it's definitely very cool. Made some great friends, and did a little bit of skiing. Nothing too impactful, but it was a little cold up there. I'd much rather go there during forward to it. Thank you.
That's Austin Cindric. Adam?
Thank you, Jamie. Look who's with us. Brad Keselowski on the desk. And it's interesting because while Jamie was doing that interview, Brad comes over, sits down, and he says, "Is that your Daytona 500 ring?" And you were getting a pretty good look at that thing.
Yes.
So is that a little foreshadowing maybe to what's next?
Foreshadowing, maybe just some jealousy. He's got 2 of them. I got 0. I've been blessed in my career to win some of the good races. Just hasn't been this one. So I got a different kind of ring, the wedding ring. I'd like to have that one too.
Well, let's talk about that wedding ring because you had a fairly busy off season. You and Paige, your third child, a little boy, the first boy, and then I also read where you guys just celebrated your seventh anniversary. You've timed all this out pretty well.
Oh yeah, a racer's life, right? You got to have your kids during the off season. You got to have your weddings and anniversaries. I'm still a racer's kid, so it came down the line somehow. But no, it's been a great off season for me personally, and then professionally. We've had a great off season. with RFK and both teams, the 6 and the 17. A lot of advancements with, obviously the more public facing side that's some of our resources, and we feel really locked and loaded for a great 24, hopefully starting here in town.
And you mentioned the success and the growth for the 6 and the 17, but a third car competing under your umbrella this weekend as you add David Reagan to the fleet. What does it mean for you guys to not just have a third car, another teammate to work with, but to have someone like David Reagan, who is so good at this place?
Yeah, David is, for Daytona, kind of like a free agency steal. It's kind of using my NFL or other sports analogy. He's one of those guys that's kind of sitting, on a bench somewhere. We pulled him up, and we think he's got a legitimate shot to win it. Things have happened. Some in our control, some not in our control. And we just wanted more strength in numbers. So we're bringing a great effort for him, and glad to have him on board with the 60 car.
Yeah, you talked about the very of the new Dark Horse Mustang, but the last time
enough of those up, and you can build a really healthy organization for years to come. And so big goal of mine is to have some more than 1-2 finishes this year, but we'll see how that plays out, right? Everybody else's plans is not let us have those 1-2 finishes, so that's part of what makes it fun. But Chris has done a heck of a job, and I think he'll have a big year this year as well.
I would say winning is contagious. So you guys won here in August. There's bound to be some carryover. Your Lions had this amazing run to the NFC Championship game. And oh yeah, Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, it was a good year to be a Michigan guy, and it'd be even better if we could bring home a 500. So,
do you want to do a little hail to the victors as we?
I would say just a simple go blue.
All right, Brad. Good, good to see you. We'll see you Saturday.
Though I appreciate you, buddy. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you Saturday at Double A.
In the booth. Your way next tomorrow. The duel at Daytona. Coverage begins at 6. Friday busy as well. Trucks qualifying. We have race day and their season opener at 7:30 on FS1. Saturday, wall to wall, Cup final practice, Xfinity qualifying, the ARCA race, the Xfinity season opener at 4. And Sunday race day on FS1 at 11. Over to Fox at 1. It's the 66th running of the Great American Race. And when we come back, our media day coverage visits with Christopher Bell trying to get it done for the Toyota camp, and Martin Truex Jr. so close here in 2016.
It is a sport of momentary perfection. Matt Hagan's the world champion. Wow, look at that. What a race.
That was awesome.
The NHRA all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's gonna be something.
NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops. And the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
NASCAR Race Hub is back. We're at the Daytona International Speedway. The anticipation of qualifying coming up later tonight on FS1. And with us now, Martin Truex Jr., who this weekend will make his 20th start in the Daytona 500. How is that even possible?
I can't even imagine. It doesn't feel like I've been around that long. Time flies when you're.
Well, maybe it'll work out for a guy we call Junior. So
I hope so. I hope so.
So, Martin, back last August, you made the decision in the announcement that you were going to return to Joe Gibbs Racing for 2024. And I was very intrigued with what you said. You said you had no question. You still wanted to drive a race car, but were you ready to commit to what it takes to be successful? People have no idea what it takes if you want to go out there and be competitive for 38 weeks, do they?
I don't think they do. You know, you talk about the travel and the schedule, the length of the season. Those are, that's one thing. But then you think about all the stuff we have to do behind the scenes, and that's really where it gets tricky these days. Way more work away from the racetrack today than there was when I started 20 years ago. We did more testing back then. We had more practice. Every move you make, you're measured, and you have to work on all those things constantly to be able to continue to be near the top of this sport. And it's a big commitment. So that's kind of what I was talking about. I know you know a lot about that stuff, being behind the scenes and being a crew chief and things, but it's just changed so much over the years.
I feel, though, like you're an old school guy. I mean, you are. There's no doubt about that. So how, with that, do you prepare for this weekend's race?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am. I would say more old school than especially the young guys. But, again, I have to look at all those things. My crew chief shows me all this stuff. Here's what we have to look at. Here's what we have to look at. Here's what we have to, okay. You do your studying. So it's analytics. It's looking at video. It's talking, with the team about the aerodynamic studies. We don't get a lot of practice down here. We have a new Toyota Camry. And a lot of the things that we've learned have been on the computer already, drafting studies and this and that. And then we get out on the track and we get a little bit of a chance to work through them as a group, but not a lot. So just been looking at that stuff, talking to James, talking to the team, and they kind of give us like, okay, here's what you should expect.
And the regular season championship. Yep, there's a lot of them that would love to have had a season like that. But the playoffs last year, I mean, stuff that just blew my mind. You had a flat tire on the pace laps at Kansas.
Yeah.
An engine failure at Miami. People don't blow engines anymore. If it happened to you in that 19 team.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. And we had high confidence going into the playoffs. We really felt good about where we were. Started off at Darlington. I made a mistake in practice, and it was just downhill from there. Honestly, and we regained our traction and our footing at the end of the season, which was good. But it was just, we didn't go anywhere. So disappointing for year. And I just hope we can come out of the box like we did last year, swinging and running up front and winning races. That's the whole goal.
When you sit down here, you said you've been doing a lot of hunting, fishing, and relaxing. It's time to go back to work. All right. And hopefully you catch a really big fish on Sunday. Thanks for being here.
That'd be great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Martin Truex Jr. making his 20th start in the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Let's hear now from his teammate Christopher Bell with Jamie.
Well, Adam, Christopher Bell has been the model of consistency the last couple of seasons, making it to the championship for the last 2 years. So you and your crew chief, Adam Stevens, you guys have such a dynamic duo.
Very thankful and fortunate to drive for, such a good crew chief. And it took us a period of time to get to where we're at today. But I think right now, every single time we go to the racetrack, no matter if it's Daytona or Sonoma or Dover, we feel like we're going to have a shot to win. So, through 2021, whenever we got paired up together, there wasn't any practice or qualifying. So we didn't have any opportunity to learn what I needed in the car. It was just a complete guess, every week. And if sometimes we'd hit it, sometimes we wouldn't. And then whenever we got into 2022, we had those practice sessions where he was able to learn my driving style. And we were really just able to start clicking from there on.
Well, that leads me into this question and the layout of the schedule this year. Tonight, we have Daytona 500 qualifying, no practice before the dual races. And by the way, the Toyota Camry, it's a new model this year. So what are your expectations and how long does it take you to kind of get up to speed with what you have?
Yeah, I mean, tonight will be easy. We're going to go out there and every driver is going to be able to hold it wide open. So there's not much to it tonight. Tomorrow in the duels, we'll really get a feel. And honestly, that's the most important time of the week before we get into the Daytona 500, because that is the most realistic practice conditions you're going to get for the Daytona 500. So that duel is very important, and we're going to be pushing hard to understand what our cars capable of and what our issues are going into the race on Sunday.
All right, that's Christopher Bell. He's won on dirt, short track, you name it, intermediate road course, but never
super speedway, and that is on our to-do list in 2024.
You heard it here first. Christopher Bell wants to win the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Adam.
Thanks, Jamie. And I would put him near the top of the list when you look at what he's done in recent years. When we return, we're talking to one of his teammates. Ty Gibbs is with us, and we'll hear from Kyle Busch looking for his 500 victory on Sunday.
Here is where it must be left on the track.
Blow those rear tires off of the bud.
And now is when the future is written in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
You're going to hit hard. It's going to be exciting.
After the checkered flag on Sunday, we'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
Everybody's overheated.
Hear the action
That'll make it radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
I am very entertained.
As we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
This is where these warriors ride on the edge of glory and the edge of devastation. This is the NHRA.
NHRA all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
At North Star Bets,
in the morning leading
all the
the drivers meeting,
at
leading
North
up to
Star?
changing, getting into your tires, doing intros. They went through the
Your
CFD
other
from there on the
sides are
program.
calling. This is the new Nissan.
We do that way. It's not really different each week, but here, there's energy.
This is what we practice for.
Yeah, we did it.
So therapeutic to laugh.
Life and death are the same. Both can have value and purpose.
War is coming.
Plan starting at just $7.99 a month.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show. NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long. You're watching NASCAR Race Hub. Tonight's show originating from Daytona Beach, Florida, as we set you up for Sunday's Daytona 500. It's media day, and Kyle Busch is joined us at the desk, making his 19th start for the Great American Race here on Sunday. Welcome.
It's really
Good
cool
to have you on the 500. How is it?
You've got all the things in the morning intro for the first year. OCB, and that's where we're going to go. Great start to the season. We have tonight.
Everything in the CR too.
Notes and things of like, okay, what worked? What did Kyle like in the car? What didn't he like in the car? Like even more.
Kyle, the 100 start.
Win number 3 in the Brickyard on race number 700. That would be a day the oval again. So I love Indy, so it'd be a really cool place to celebrate another win.
Here for the 500. For qualifying for the Daytona 500. Daytona International Speedway qualifying in just a couple minutes.
Bust out and back right over top of me, Larry Mack. How do you manage?
And swing and amen. I shot my head. I didn't know what to do there. Well, and the fact that rock, paper, scissors. Since you're an Alabama guy and he's a Michigan guy, so the 500, I'm ready to see a car racer. Daytona 500 qualifying is next.
In just a couple minutes, we're going to be all set up and ready to go. 4 days until the 500.
We worked together great. We took the lead around the outside of the two Fords, and I'm like, well, if we just did that to them, there's no way they can do that back to us. And I'm literally coming out of turn 4.
Discord
coming to the white. Coming to the white.
I think so, yeah.
And I was like, I could see the white, and then there's
If
this.
you could have got the white, it was a done deal.
Trust me, I know. And I was like, oh, you know. Then we had to go through the restarts, and we all know restarts are just crazy. So you just, I don't know.
Well, it's been fun to watch over the years, and another opportunity on Sunday.
Yep.
Best of luck, and thanks for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's get it done now.
Yeah, why not?
Opportunities are running out.
And we don't have to talk about it anymore after that. Jamie.
Well, Ty Gibbs officially can take off that rookie stripe. Second full-time season. That gave you motivation, excitement, extra to get here to the Daytona 500?
Yeah, you know, it was a really great race for us, and like you said, to be able to take off the rookie stripes is cool. It's definitely crazy. The second full year cup coming up, so I'm excited. And my team.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Job,
and
so
this
I'm
will
happy to work with
be the Daytona 500
of people
qualifying.
Of my
the
team.
Daytona.
Great, so we'll see how it goes.
You know, you hear from a lot of rookies when they come to the cup level and they come to the Daytona 500, it feels like you're drinking from a water hose. This time around, though, you've already done it once. What can you take from last year and what you learned?
I will be your announcer tonight. Driving the number 16, the number 10. Daytona 500 qualifying.
Just being in contention to win and most importantly to not wreck out.
You mentioned your team. A pit crew is so pivotal and so important to everybody, but especially for you because your cousin Jackson is your front too.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, it's definitely cool. This is a really big team sport here, especially at Jacobs Racing. So we treat it like you know, I think my grandfather treats it just like he's back in Washington. So it's really cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy the atmosphere that we have, especially with our team guys. We have a great group of guys with us. So we'll see how it goes, and at least I can give him a hard time now. This is my cousin on my tire changer. So if there's any wheels loose, I can give him a hard time.
That's right. Go extra hard on your family, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
All right. That's Ty Gibbs. We'll see you. Good luck on Sunday and the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Well, just how everybody is positive and optimistic, but rightly so, because whether you're Ryan Blaney, who won the championship, Ty Gibbs that we just heard from, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that won the 500 last year, or someone like Chase Elliott that didn't even run all the races and went winless, everybody comes here with a clean sheet of paper. Everybody's on even ground. You've got the goal of making the playoffs, winning the championship, but more than anything, start off by winning the Daytona 500.
David Regan, Anthony Alfred,
6.5 months
BJ McLeod, and Jimmy Johnson.
On the last
if they do not make,
I would say there are a couple of people that maybe are out of the gate just a little bit slow. This my big moment for media day today. Brad Keselowski hanging and whoa, swing and a miss.
But he shook my hand later. I didn't know what to do there.
Well, and the fact
we're playing rock, paper, scissors.
Since you're an Alabama guy and he's a Michigan guy,
yeah, there was a method to his madness.
It stands to reason you guys were on wrong sides of the page. Hey, let's go out to the grid because it's time for qualifying.
I'm ready. It's 4 days until the Daytona 500. I'm ready to see a car on this racetrack.
Daytona 500 qualifying is next. We're on the grid with Regan Smith. Stay with us on FS1 live from
Behind the wheel, dangerous drives.
you're not coming home. So.
Here and now is when it matters month or last week or where and the drive
first,
to whatever it takes now is when the future is
500.
and the NASCAR crowd.
Weeknights Race Hub is your home for the only.
And he says, that is Denny Hamlin.
Season long.
Much has changed. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
It's been 101 days since the NASCAR under the lights in Daytona, wondering and waiting for their shot at history. American race. And tonight, it's all about one thing. Dance. One lap to be the fastest on the high banks. Qualify.
It's a great night at the World Center of Racing. The lights are shining brightly here on and their teams as we anticipate qualifying tonight live on FS1. So good to have you with us, everybody. I'm glad we have abandoned the desk inside Smith, Larry Daytona 500 Puzzle Regan.
Adam, this is an exciting night. At the end of tonight, we are going to know who is going to lead the field to the green at the Daytona 500. That is a
think about the Daytona 5 pole for any race is important, but I'm telling you, it's special involved. It is a big deal.
No doubt, you want to lead the field to the green on Sunday in the Daytona 500, but there are 6 drivers in cars that have so much on what these teams are faced with here tonight, Larry.
Well, they know after tonight, the fastest may not know where they're going to start the Daytona 500, but they know they will start the Daytona 500. They can breathe easy leaving here tonight.
If they leave here knowing that tonight, that is a huge deal. We were 1/10 of a second off from making it in through qualifying. That was the difference of making it or not making it, because when it came time for the duels, we had problems in the duels. We went home, and there is no worse feeling than for the drivers that are going to miss it from that list right there, that are going to go home and not race in the Daytona 500. That is the worst feeling in the world.
So how do you plan things for the next couple of days? Because ultimately, as you get the show, but if you don't get it done tonight, you better have a car that works in the draft tomorrow, Larry.
And that is like
NASCAR
walking on a razor.
NASCAR on
There's
Fox.
a lot of different agendas tonight. If you think you can sit on the pole like that man right there, Alex Bowman, 3 of the last 6 poles, you have trimmed that car out for speed. If you're handling it, you want to make sure your car drives good tomorrow night. But going back to those 6 drivers, trust me, they have to have speed in their race cars. But the worst case scenario, you're going to have your hands full tomorrow night.
Well, I got to tell you, from the driver perspective, I hear Larry talking about all this work that's been going on. I want to mess it up tonight. I want to make sure that I get onto the racetrack, that I hit my marks, that I do all the right things. So time and time again, we hear the drivers is not. They're all going to be nervous when they pull onto that racetrack. Don't miss a gear. Get your RPMs right as you're going through the gears to make sure that you can come back to your team and say, I did everything humanly possible. We just didn't have.
As they go through the qualifying procedures tonight, one driver that is not 10 days ago in the clash at the LA Coliseum.
Green, white, checker.
Medals, trophies, the prestige, eternal glory.
Good job, everybody.
Momentum, that's no problem either. In fact, he's got plenty of a couple of weeks ago, but he's delivered 3 times in the Daytona 5.
Look out, because Denny's got this aura about him this year and every year, but he just has a different feeling to him right now. You get that clash win, right? And I don't care how many races you won, how many Daytona 500. Very good down here. That's going to make it for a dangerous.
Interesting what he told us today, because those 3 Daytona 500 wins, they came in the last generation with this next gen car, 2022, 2023. The numbers are not very good. His best finish in the Daytona 500 these last few years is 17th. I said, Denny, what is the difference? He said, me. but you're going to see a new, going to be the great team player. The best thing I can do for Toyota is win the Daytona 500, and my friend is whoever can help me.
He's got all these teammates. He owns a team, so he's got two more teammates on that side of things, and he says, no, I want to talk about me, Denny Hamlin, going to be selfish. Here is your Toyota team update. It's qualifying. Hamlin goes 23rd, Bell 32nd. Ty Gibbs looking for his second start of the Daytona 500 on Sunday. He goes off third. Great American race. You'll see him 39th on track tonight. Give me a sense, what are expectations for the Toyotas this year, Larry?
I think headed into the numbery, no laps have been turned. This qualifying, there's been no practice. When they drive off into turn one, that is lap one. 17 years they've been in the Cup Series. They have never sat on the pole for the Daytona 500.
Oh, well, and I think when we look at those same numbers, Larry, you look at last year, the rest of them are all 18th, and we're on a race good in the duels. We in one of the best environments in last year. I don't know that it's going to be much different. Green flag came out. Stick with it if it works.
You know, it's really interesting to me that in this race, it's all about competing this weekend more than they've ever had. What opportunities does that create?
Somewhere you might have a teammate back at stops. You got more cars to pit with.
We've got 9 drivers come to the family, and when you think legacy, you think 5 years in 2000. The infield here at Daytona, he's there waiting for all here at Daytona. The driver next.
Heavy damage.
Not last month, but here is where it must be left alive to do whatever it takes. Is when the future is written.
Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
Everybody's overheated. That'll make radioactive.
Built by the experts for the die-hard fans.
Covering the stories.
Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
Here's the thin line in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Between winning and losing. Which tailspins. Between making history and the thin line between being a nation.
But the thing that never does, that first green flag drops, and the here's the one thing, race begins again.
Your system.
Prices on furniture. Save up to 50 2026 with zero.
And death are the same.
War is coming.
Everyone.
Underway. Is the same.
Show gentlemen, all the
February 18th will be told flat. And
So can't wait for the Daytona 500. You know, so strong. There's the 24 with 6 wins a year ago. Years all started 2015. Alex Bowman, 18, 2021. All Hendrick Motorsports the same 2 years and stole the show. The qualifying record. Alex Bowman with us here. Speed tonight due to help.
500 qualifying is really important. Make it happen. Try to get it for a step. How hard track position has gotten. Make it happen. It's so weird. I haven't launched a cup car to qualify since Phoenix. So
you haven't launched a cup car since Phoenix. A minute ago, there has still got to be
I mean, when these guys want you to anything since November, it's second nature, but it's been so long since you've ever here for qualifying.
Tonight's qualifying. He also likes Harley J. Earl's trophy. He has 8 of them, but it's been a decade. This thing handling good for Sunday.
Right now, like tomorrow night, it might not drive that well, but while handling well. Talladega race away and continue to learn. Hopefully we'll have a shot at it on Sunday night.
I got to ask about this, and I hate asking about this, but the past 2 years, season interrupted with some injuries, had to miss a few races, including. Have to talk about this at all this year?
Yeah, I hope so. I feel really good. I'm definitely healed up and physically kind of back up to speed with where I was to start the season last year. So I'm excited to get to work. My whole Allied team has worked so hard this off season, and those things are really loud. But I'm ready to go. I can't hear you guys anymore, but I'm ready to rip this year for sure.
Well, Alex, what I want to ask you about, aside from the injuries last year, when you and Blake Harris started 2023, the first 6 or 7 races, you were lights out. Sat on the pole here, a bunch of top 5s, bunch of top 10s. You even led the points.
Yeah, I think for us, just to kind of get back to zero, get back working out, not be recovering from the race. Like just being able to go back to zero and start over. And I race team, and I love working with Blake and all these guys on this Ally 48 team. So I'm excited about it, and I think we can get right back to that.
500 miles at Daytona. It is a grind. Give me an idea of the mental preparation and focus it takes to prepare and then execute this race?
For sure. It's so easy to get caught up in somebody else's mess. And I feel like you almost get caught up in thinking about that and thinking about the risks and other people's messes that you can get caught up in. But kind of what I've learned in the last couple of years, control, right? And worry about those things, tackle those tasks and do the right things in the areas that you can control and just race and let the rest of it take care of itself. So sometimes it doesn't work out and you get caught up in a mess, but I'd rather do that than be worried about it and all that. So
are you worried the fact that your car still has not made it through inspection yet?
Larry, I just drive it. You know that.
You can't control that, right?
I was just saying, he said maximize what you can control.
What I can control, which is how great Ally is and Chevrolet is with you guys. Hendrick Motorsports has a 40th anniversary media deal tomorrow at 2:30, and so
impressive. Congratulations on that, and good luck tonight. All right.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
And now we look at the numbers from 2023. When it comes to Hendrick Motorsports and all they've been able to put together. The highlight, no doubt, is Larson and Byron, right? Combining for 10 wins. Both drivers go to the championship 4. We discussed the situation for Bowman. Let's go now to Chase Elliott. We know he missed a number of races last year as well, and he misses out on the playoffs. We talked to him earlier today. He seems to be in a really good place to come back and compete for a championship.
Yeah, and I don't think it was just fluff. I think he was very honest with us, and I was intrigued by some things that I heard. And the one thing that did intrigue me the most was the fact that he kind of says people is looking at him and Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, who has been together. And you know what? I believe it.
They are committed, they are focused, and they appear to be ready to go and rebound for an unbelievable 2024. Started at Fox because we have a new teammate, and that would be Kevin Harvick. I am Kevin Harvick.
This is my for what if you'd have changed the amount of races? Do you retire 10? When you look back, you're in the shadow of a legend. If we'd have struggled the first year, it could have been a short career. I mean, it could have easily gone that way.
I would hope that you guys don't expect me to replace him because nobody ever will.
You know, if you don't win, I probably wouldn't react to that very well. I remember thinking, man, ever tell people any weaknesses that I had. But winning cures a lot of problems.
He's going to win the race and the championship.
Here comes Kevin.
The reaction's always calculated. That was all show. I've always been pretty big on people not knowing who you are. It was always about not wanting to show weakness. You don't have to tell the whole story. This will be worth being shared.
And we look forward to that tomorrow night. I am Kevin Harvick following the duel.
I can't wait to see. Kevin said that was all show. There was much show involved there. I believe.
Think about it. We started with NASCAR on Fox in 2001, and he started his season right after we started here at the Daytona 500, and we were there for the entire ride.
We have got so many great things ahead this week, and we have that for you tomorrow night. More coming up next from Daytona.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops. You might not recognize much at all, but one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
It's a Pinks All Out. Arm drops.
Let's race. Here we go.
Bring him up. Can you stop that just for a second?
Go. Oh.
Ready, man.
Let's go. This is where racer meets machine. What an unbelievable drag race. These warriors ride on the edge of glory and the edge of devastation. This is the NHRA.
Ray, all season long on Fox Sports Racing. Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month, or last week, or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off.
He's done.
Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off us, bud.
Now is when future is written. In the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Oh my God. Meet the daring who face down fear behind the
So tonight, our drivers that will be qualifying will be. Just wait, I lost my driver count.
Rex, and he's better this time. He's with Storehouse Racing. Who proved she even thought or you name it. And on top of that, been on the race track. So what are those nerves like? You know, as you go out there and try to qualify.
Starting on the pole for qualifying tonight, here for the NASCAR Daytona 500 qualifier, it will be. Where'd it go? Driving the. All right, for qualifying tonight, starting in first position for qualifying tonight. First car will be out. It will be coming out second, Alfredo. Coming out third for single car qualifying. Coming out fourth, Ryan Priest in the number 41. Coming out fifth, Justin Haley in the number 51. Starting sixth, driving. This is David Reagan. He will be driving the electric race car tonight. Starting in seventh, the seventh car out for single car qualifying tonight will be the number 16 of AJ Allmendinger. And starting in eighth, Peter McLeod for single car qualifying. Driving the number 42, starting in ninth position, the ninth car for qualifying tonight will be John Hunter Nemechek. Starting in 10th, driving the number 15, it's Riley Herbst. Qualifying tonight will be the 15 of, will be the number 3 of Austin Dillon. Starting 12th for single car qualifying tonight. He'll be the 12th car out tonight. It's the number 44 of JJ Yeley. Starting 13th for the team car. Daniel Hemrick driving in the 13th car coming out for single car qualifying tonight will be Daniel Hemrick in the number 31. Driving in 14th position tonight will be Noah Gregson. Driving in 15th position, driving the number 7, Corey LaJoy. Driving the number 16, that will be starting in 16th, driving the number 14, sponsored by Mahindra Tractor Ford. That is Chase Briscoe. Starting 17th for the 17th car out for single car qualifying tonight will be Kaz Groliff in the number 36. And for 18th position. And for 19th position, Todd Gilliland driving the number 38 car. Driving the number 20. Starting in 20th, driving the number 2 tonight. That is Austin Sendry. 21st driver, starting 21st. That'll be Jimmy Johnson driving the 84. Starting 22nd, Rick Jones. Starting 23rd tonight will be the number 11 of fan favorite, the number 11 of Danny Hamlin. Starting in 24th position, driving the number 4, Josh Berry. Starting in 25th position tonight, Brad Keselowski driving the number 6. 26th position, driving the number 47, driving the number 27. No, sorry, starting 27th tonight, it will be driving the number 12, will be Ryan Blaney. One moment, please. Driving the number 22, starting in 29th position for qualifying tonight. That will be Joey Logano. Starting in 31st, Tyler, driving the number 45, that is Tyler Reddick. Driving the number 20, starting in 32nd position, driving the number 20, that is Christopher Bell. Driving the number 30, starting in 33rd position, driving the number 48, that is Alex Bowman. Starting in 34th position, driving the number 4, Ty Gibbs.
Series season starts right here tonight in Daytona. Can Alex Bowman extend his record-setting streak of front row starts for the 500? How about our champ Ryan Blaney?
Tonight's race is sponsored by Advan Health.
twerk full later this month. What is full right now is the NASCAR garage area.
Who's that new?
Darn.
The first car. Two rounds tonight of qualifying. Up next, the number 62 of Anthony Alfredo. Up next, the WeatherTech Chevrolet. That is Zane Smith on a number 71. That is Zane. That is Ryan Breeze. Driving the number 41. That is Ryan Ryan Priest will take the lead from Anthony. Driving the number 51, that is Justin Haley.
Nice to be back.